The next coach on the telecast, John Groce. The Illini are 11-6 overall and 1-3 in Big Ten play. Illinois will travel to Northwestern on Wednesday before hosting Indiana on Sunday. Coach Groce, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
I appreciate your patience. If you just give us a quick opening comment, then we'll open it for questions.
Sure. Obviously, last time we spoke a week ago, we weren't real thrilled with our defense, and I thought we could give more. I thought that this past week is as hard as we played consistently throughout the 80 minutes that we played. I thought our defense was tremendous in both games. I thought our effort was fantastic. If we defend and rebound like we did this past week, we're going to have a chance night in, night out, and I thought that was really encouraging. Obviously, last night against Nebraska, we didn't make enough shots. I've watched the film since last night, obviously, and I thought we had some pretty good looks. I thought Nebraska's defense did a good job, but at the end of the day, we've got to step up and make a few more shots. We had our 3 or 4 guys there that play on the perimeter for us combined for 12 for 43, and that's going to make it a tough night, almost every night in the Big Ten when you shoot that type of percentage. At the end of the day, it's a 6-point game with 5 minutes to go because of our defense. Just really proud of our guys, how hard they played this week, how inspiring they were with their effort, and it's really something to build on as we head into this upcoming week. Questions?
Thanks, Coach. Let's go straight to questions, please.
Your first question comes from the line of Jeremy Warner with ESPN Radio.
Morning, John. I know you've talked about, just have your guys shoot good shots, and shot selection has been important for you guys. How do you go about, coaching shot selection and kind of enforcing it as you go along?
Well, I thought last night that wasn't the problem. I thought we had 4 or 5 of them as I charted them, and obviously we don't, you'd like to have 0, but that's not realistic. A couple of those Petaway hit, you think those were good shots? Those were 26-footers at the end of the shot clock challenge with a guy right in his face. But everybody's clapping.
Sure.
Good for him. Great play. I thought that last night we just didn't make shots. I thought that they made us pass the ball and get deep into the shot clock and work really hard to get those shots, and I thought our guys did that for the most part. Thought we executed really well out of timeouts. But it's basically shot selection is really simple. It's a shot that a guy can make, and if I feel like he can make it and he's open, then he needs to take that shot. And last night I thought we did that a lot. We just didn't make them.
And I know you've been playing with your lineups a little bit. Just what have you learned about going big, going small over the last couple games?
I've learned that we got to have both. Right now with some bodies down, we've got to try to have both those lineups ready to go and probably play both of those lineups in every game. That's just kind of the way, that's who we are right now, and we've got to adjust and be adaptable. And I think that we've done that. I think the assistant coaches and the staff have done a good job of trying to put those guys in position based on lineups we want out there, based on lineups they have out there at the time, what defense we want to be in. Like we've done that very well the last 2 games, and we're going to continue to need that type of focus and concentration. I thought that, our focus and concentration in the last 2 games has been, very, very good. So we've got to continue to build on that as well.
Bishop.
Your next question comes from the line of Rob McCauley with the Illinois Report.
John, do we have a prognosis for Ray at this point?
No, it's kind of a day-to-day deal, Rob. Obviously he had the surgery. He's not coming back today. I do know that. But it's up in the air. It really is. It depends on how the hand responds to the surgery. Depends on how he feels. Depends on his pain threshold. It depends on there's a lot of factors, a lot of variables. That's not a rote or like, hey, here's the date type of deal. That's just not the way that it works. You're talking about the human body and how he responds to the surgery.
We've got time for one more question from the media, please, Darla.
Your final question comes from the line of Andrew Kahn with CBS Local.
Hi, Coach. I've talked to a bunch of fans that sort of complain about how close games take so long. The final minute of close games takes so long because of replay reviews and usually because coaches have several timeouts remaining, given that there are TV timeouts throughout the game. I'm just wondering what, from a coach's perspective, if you feel like these exciting games kind of slow down to a crawl and And I guess as a follow-up, if you would ever be willing to, give up timeouts, if as a rule change, maybe one less timeout, in the second half or something.
Well, I don't make those decisions, first of all, so I just kind of play within what the rules are and what they give us. But, I don't see any problem with the game. I mean, I think we have a great game. I know there's committees that work on trying to adjust and the game and wrinkle the game to always make it better. I'm always open-minded to that. But I do think at the end of the game, I mean, obviously there are going to be more dead balls, more timeouts, more rules that come into play under 2 minutes to make sure that everything gets done correctly and right and with integrity and to the best of our ability and the best of the officials' ability. We're all working together on that. So, I don't see any problem with it per se. If there was one less timeout, like, if that happens, it happens. I don't think it's necessarily a make or break deal.
Coach, we appreciate your time this morning. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, no problem. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. The next coach on the teleconference is Northwestern's Chris Collins. The Wildcats are 10-6 in the season. Big Ten. Northwestern will host Illinois on Wednesday before traveling to Michigan on Saturday. Coach Collins, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Please provide a brief opening statement, and then we'll open the call for questions.
Well, obviously for us, we're coming off a really hard-fought game yesterday at Michigan State. I thought we played one of our better games of the season. Really executed well offensively, shot the ball well, and put ourselves in a great position, to try to win a big road game late, and one possession game, and it just didn't go our way. Michigan State made a lot of plays down the stretch, and were able to win the game in overtime. So I was really proud of my team's effort. I thought we did a lot of good things, and I thought it was a real step in the right direction. You just, obviously it's tough when you feel you play well enough to win, you don't get it done. So the thing about this league is you got to move forward. You got to get ready. We play a really good Illinois team, a team that's going to be really hungry and does a lot of good things on both ends of the ball, and it's going to be a great challenge for us on Wednesday night.
Thank you, Coach. Let's go straight to questions, please, Darla.
Your first question comes from the line of Rob McCauley with the Illinois Report.
Hi, Chris. What are you expecting from the point guard position for Illinois?
Well, I think they have a number of guys who can handle the ball. I think that's kind of what John has done with his teams, wherever he's coached. And, really I think that's where the game is going. You're a lot more dangerous when you have multiple playmakers, and it's something you see a lot with the really good teams. So, I think they have a lot of options. Obviously not having Abrams as a senior has been, has hurt them. But, when you have by committee, with Tate, with Starks, none can handle the ball as a playmaker, as a combo guard. They have options that they can put out there, and guys that can put a lot of pressure on your defense, and they all kind of bring different things to the table. So, I think what they try to do when you watch them is have multiple guys handle the ball. I mean, even Hill, it becomes a playmaker for them because a lot of times he's at the 4 position, and it's a mismatch problem. So, I think they have a lot of playmakers. They play different lineups. They mix up some defenses, and they present a lot of problems. And it takes a lot for your team in preparation to try to be ready for the different things they can throw at you.
Thanks.
Once again, if you'd like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad.
Coach, Trey Demps obviously made some key plays down the stretch of your game at Michigan State yesterday. With him being a permanent starter in your lineup now, talk a little bit about how his game continues to evolve.
Yeah, I mean, Trey's been playing really well. He was in a little bit of a shooting slump earlier in the year, and he's kind of worked through that, and it's a different role for him. I mean, coming into the year, we thought we were going to have a healthy Drashawn Cobb and be able to keep Trey in that role that he was really good at, that 6-man role where he still plays starters minutes and finishes games for us, but gives us that pop off the bench. So we kind of had to change gears, and now with him in the starting lineup, I think he and Bryant McIntosh have developed a really good chemistry in the backcourt. They play off each other very well. we're very reliant on Trey and his scoring, and he's one of only a few guys we have that when things break down, he can make something happen. And obviously he likes the ball, down the stretch in close games, and wants to be in a position and is not afraid to be in a position to to pull out a game just like he did yesterday. So even though we lost, he wanted the ball and got fouled, made 2 free throws, had a great look at the end of regulation, just didn't go down. So I'm really proud of the way he's been playing, and hopefully he can keep it going as we move forward in the league.
Your next question comes from the line of Nathan Baird with the Lafayette Journal.
Hi, Chris. Sort of a general basketball question. There's been some talk of possibly going to a shorter shot clock, either down to 30 seconds or I guess possibly even lower than that. What are your thoughts on that? Would you think it would be a good change, or would you prefer to see them stay at the traditional college length on that?
I like a shorter shot clock. I think, I just think it's a natural progression, where, for me, I like more possessions. I think it, for development in players, having to learn how to get into your sets and get into offense and make quick decisions, I've always been a proponent now as global as the game has gone, we should go to, a set of rules that applies worldwide, 3-point line, shot clock, let's evolve as the game has evolved. And I had a lot of experience in international ball, and it's crazy. For our American player, you go over and play in those international competitions. It's like a whole different game with, a lot of the different rule changes. So, I think there's things that maybe are good what the international rules are, and then there's some things maybe that they should adapt to what we do. But in terms of a shot clock, I think that I've always been a proponent to have it a little bit less. I mean, the women play at 30. The NBA is at 24. We have the highest shot clock in any level, and so I would love to see it go down a little bit and force teams to get into offense, force more possessions, and I think it would help the players, to be quite frank.
Your next question comes from the line of Andrew Kahn with CBS Local.
Coach, sort of along those lines, I'm wondering what you think of maybe the last minute or two of games, which has kind of often slowed to a crawl if it's a close game because of replay reviews and usually teams each having multiple timeouts. I guess I'm wondering what you think about whether, you'd be okay with fewer timeouts and or a revision of the replay system where maybe, a call gets messed up now and then, but, not at the expense of then exciting games.
Well, I think having the replay has been good, just because everyone wants to see it. We want to see it right. You want to, and the referees are human beings. There's going to be some human error, and the game is so fast. Sometimes who the ball is off, or is it a 2, is it a 3? There's when you have humans involved, there's going to be sometimes when you want to make sure you get it right. The one thing that I would say, and obviously there's committees every year that get together and figure out how to make the game go better. The one thing that I would see that, again, I talked earlier that the international rule, which I really like, is, I'd like to see us go to where you can't stop live action with a timeout. Force players to learn how to make plays, if a guy's smothered in the corner and trapped, or if there's a loose ball, to be able to bail out and call a timeout, or to have a coach be able to, to stop live action and call a timeout. I've always thought, again, it should be a player's game, and players should learn how to be able to make plays in those type of situations. So, that would be the only thing that I would like to see. Again, dealing with a lot of international games like I have, it's a rule that I kind of like. You have to learn how to, you can only call timeouts and dead balls, and I think that would quicken it a little bit. But it is what it is right now, and obviously as a coach, you got to take advantage of what the rules are and utilize your timeouts and try to put your team in the best position to be successful at the end of the games.
Coach, thanks for your time this morning. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. The next coach on the teleconference is Maryland's Mark Turgeon. The Terrapins are 15-2 on the season.